I think I'm just gonna be doing like a little vlog type thing of just several clips till I feel like I'm done. But I just went to drop off all the books that I just finished reading so someone else could hopefully check them out. Um, I just posted that video. This might be the next video. And I was looking at the wall. I was like, I don't need any more books. I have 3 more books that of her series of Anne Bishop that I'm going to be reading next. I honestly think I'm going to DNF the 2 palette cleansers that I bought, which nothing wrong with them. I just really want to get back into this world. But I just saw this came out this year, the Lady in the Glass and Other Stories, and there is a short story with Meg and Simon again, and I cannot wait. I was like, I'm not gonna read the other stories because they're kind of like revisiting other books of hers, so I don't think I'm gonna read anything else. So I might be checking this back out again once I finish the series that these maybe touch base back on. I think they give a little synopsis of what each one um, is. The earlier stories, fairy tales, Black Jewel. Maybe it's all something different, but I cannot wait. I'm so excited. Good morning. I am out doing a walk. I haven't walked for several days. I've been reading a lot and just like not mentally there, but trying to get back into it. It's really nice. It's overcast, windy. I don't think I should get rained on. I hope I don't. But, yeah, I started reading The Looking Glass, Lady in the Looking Glass with Lady in Glass by Anne Bishop. I showed it in my previous clip, and I read the little bit of kind of like a little Christmas special of Simon and Meg, and I loved it. It was so good. So I read that, and then I realized that my library app has the audiobook. So I checked it out, and I thought there is some parts of those short stories that I'm not going to read because they have to do with other series. So, but for the most part, I think I'll be able to read all of it. I'm going through, she's written several short stories of like fairy tale retellings, which have been pretty good. I just love her writing. It kind of like inspiring me again to write. Kind of like a little bit update on that. I have not, like, once I got laid off last year, which wasn't, we anticipated it, but it still sucks, you know. I literally put 10 years of my life at that job, and then it's just like down the drain. But you know, that's just life. That's fine. Much happier, way better circumstances now. No job, but you know, just much better. But yeah, because that's where I wrote. Like, I had an office job. It was just me. I would be busy for only certain times in the day, and then I had so much free time on my hands, I'd go crazy. So I would bring like a book bag of things to do, like knitting, reading, writing. So that's where I started writing. That's where I did a lot of my writing. And then just after that, and I have so many stories. One thing that Anne Bishop wrote, like a little part in this book, and people are like, you know, they start comparing their works to hers, and she's like, I have so many drafts of things that never made it. I have thousands of pages of drafts. And she does have like 30 years of experience. So while I would love to publish a book one day, most definitely would take me like a long time. So, yeah. But there's a couple stories that I want to touch again that I have been rereading one. I kind of started rereading another. But, you know, if you keep rereading your draft, you just either hate it or want to change it and all kinds of stuff. But there's actually one story that I was writing that I got like 80,000 words, if I'm not mistaken. There's a lot. I actually started rereading it, and I was like, oh, this is still really good. Like, I really like it. So it's not actually trash anymore. But yeah, so just kind of, I don't know, just I really want to start writing again after reading her stuff. It's so like not mature, but it's, I mean, I read a lot of KU books, Kindle Unlimited books, which some of them aren't edited professionally and a lot of them are cheesy. Like if I were to reread half of the books I read in 2020, I would vomit. I would like DNF all of them. I know for a fact. I loved them at the time. They gave me pleasure and enjoyment at the time, but rereading them now, I'd be like, what is this garbage? Not that it's bad, like, you know, to each their own, but it's just kind of like really different writing to a traditionally published or like Anne Bishop, someone with so much experience. So I think as a really good exercise, I think it'd be good to just do like little short stories, or she was writing how something like inspired her, and she started writing like a little quick thing, like a name and this and that. So I think that would be a good exercise. But yeah, I'm gonna enjoy my walk. There's a nice hot breeze blowing in my face. So, but yeah, that's just, hopefully this walk picks up my mood a little bit, because it's been rough for the past few days. Hello. Okay, so this is going to be the last clip of all these random clips. Sorry for the chaotic background. I'm sitting at my desk, but I just wanted to do a chatty, quick book review, kind of, and book haul. I have a stack off to the side here of books that I've thrifted recently. But I want to start off saying I finished the other series. I finished the last 3 books, and I hope and pray there's a 4th book. It was amazing. Like I can't, I mean, I don't know if my last video was coherent in any way of like expressing how amazing the world is, the world building, the characters, the relationships, the community, the found family aspect of everything. It's so good. And yesterday, so I picked up this as well. This is the book she just came out with this year. It's a bunch of her short stories and her earlier works that were never published, just when she was like getting her writing career going. The Lady in the Looking Glass and other stories. So there's 2 stories from, sorry, like I just woke up. There's 2 stories from the world of the others. One is a little Christmas special with Meg and Simon, which was so good. It was so, like, I felt like I was home again, even though I just finished reading that like a few weeks ago. Excellent. And then there was another story called The Dark Ship, which it's still in the time after the Great Predation, after the fall of the HFL movement. If you know, you know. I don't want to give too much detail away, but we're in a different part of the world. This is like the Mediterranean. And the way she managed, these are all short stories. There is one kind of like full-length story here. I don't think I'm going to read it, but the way that she managed to make a whole complete story with characters that I'm like, I want more of you in 20 pages or more, a little bit more, not 30, like 28 or something, was just amazing. Amazing. It was like, I was telling my husband, I was like, I want to cry. It's so good. Like, it's just so good. We met another Sanguinati, which his name is Corvon, and he's like Captain Crows, and the main character was an Inuit. A lot of her themes are like the female character comes from a very dark background. If it's like marital abuse, like Vicky from Lake Silence, or like Meg, who was traumatized for being a Cassandra Singh, and she was like in a compound where her life was controlled, and she was, you know, self-harm without her permission, pretty much, so to speak. And then we have this character, which her name was Det, and she was abused by her parents, and then like disfigured and stuff like that. So it's like really dark and deep, but just like they have this fight in them. I could go on for hours and hours. It is, you have to read it. I highly recommend it. I read it along with the audiobook. I even got Audible because the last book, Crowbones, which, holy crap, had me on the edge of my seat. It was set during Halloween. We were back at Lake Silence, and I was like on the edge of my seat.
I did feel like the end fell short, because I mean, you do get revealed of who the villains are. It's not like a full mystery of like, oh my god, like twists and turns and all this stuff. So yeah, I just felt like the end felt short a little bit. And then book two, which was Wild Country, which was set in Bennett, which was the longest book of the three. Amazing. Oh my god. There was a pairing in there that I did not expect. I was like, okay, get it. That's we're here for that. It was probably the spiciest. Yeah, book Wild Country in was probably like the spiciest, and I've read spicy in my lifetime, and that was like one chili pepper, honestly, if you want to rate it like that. So, and I read a couple other like of her short stories she has in here. She has like a retelling of Match Girl, which I didn't finish because it was a little too much for me. It's very, very dark. Um, but yeah, I read one that was kind of like Snow White, a Rapunzel retelling. She has a couple of other retellings. There's a section here for the Black Jewel series, which I'll probably, once I read that, I'll recheck this out and read it. And then there's another short story for another series which I haven't read yet, so I'm skipping that as well. I don't think I'm reading any more of this, and I'm gonna return it, but it's bittersweet. I low-key think I would reread it again, which I am not by any means a rereader at all. So that is saying a lot. Okay, next, I think I'm gonna start off with what I'm reading now. Look at this stack. It's crazy. So at my local thrift store, the books are $1, almost all of them. The YA section is $1 to 50 cents, 25 cents for children's book. I've gotten a lot of my son's books and stuff in there. An amazing thrift store. I'm gonna be really sad when we eventually move. So, but I came across this. This was not $1. This was $5 because it's the whole series. I don't know what the series is called actually. Oh, The Enchanted Forest Chronicles by Patricia C. Red, I think. So I got all 4 books. It was $5, and funny enough, it was like not even read. It seemed like either a parent was like their kid was like entering middle school or going into high school, and they were kind of like maybe overhauling their room and just getting rid of a bunch of like their stuff from their youth, because there's a lot of stuff popping up that were very youthful, kind of like in large quantities. So that was just my assumption. Or like a grandparent make, clearing space or something. So yeah, I love the covers. So it's dealing with dragons. This is like a new edition, so because they didn't look like this. So this is that. I'm currently on book 2, searching for dragons, and my Pokemon card bookmark. And then book 3 is Calling on Dragons. Again, the cover's really fun and whimsical. And then the last book is Talking to Dragons. So, funny enough, again, Reads with Rachel, I will link her down below. She read it, and I didn't fully watch that video either, but I did listen to a little bit of it, or maybe it was on Instagram that she talked about it, how good it was. And I realized that was the book that she was talking about. And very fun. We follow Cimarine, who's a princess. She doesn't want to be a princess. She doesn't want to get married. So she takes her destiny in her own hands and goes to Enchanted Forest and becomes a dragon princess of a dragon. So, and that's where she meets Kazul, and it's just kind of their adventure and like dealing with wizards. It's very whimsical, fun, light. And Simrine's a very strong female character, which was really nice. Like, she takes no shit from no one. She takes business into her own hands. She's very smart, very witty, and very like matter of fact. So I actually, read this in tandem with audiobook, which was really fun. It's I'm getting used to it. It's a theatrical rendition where it's like every character has their own voice, which I gave up with that one on Redwall because it was just I have nothing wrong with it, but I just didn't want to read that. So now I was going to like kind of veer off and read something else, but then I started book 2, Searching for Dragons, where we introduced to the king of the Enchanted Forest, And I was like, oh, I'm hooked. This was really good. It's not like amazing. Like it's a different category because it is YA, but I really I think I would have really liked this in my youth for sure. And I read a lot of things that weren't child friendly when I was growing up. Like I was a heavy reader, but I mean, I was reading historical romance, was where everything started. So like, yeah, I kind of, I don't know, mending my childhood, I guess, so to speak, by reading some of these more like YA or like really popular books from back in the day that I wasn't aware of or didn't veer off to because I was busy reading things maybe I shouldn't have at my age. But I don't regret it because I read some amazing books. I have amazing memories of, even though vague and passing, of like crying because it was so touching and just being like consumed by it. But I wonder if maybe it would have been a little bit different as an adult if I didn't. So yeah, so that's what I'm reading. Oh, Jesus, something flying around in here. Okay, so yeah, that's what I'm reading. And then I also picked this up for $1, which I do love a billionaire romance. I haven't read something like that in a long time, but it's called Love Redesigned by Lauren Asher. I don't think I'd have to look through my Goodreads. I don't think I've read anything of hers. It's called Lakefront Billionaires. It's book one, which authors need to do this more for series and such. Like they can make it not look bad. I mean, that's cute. It's like on a little scroll. Because sometimes, like, I have series and it's just like I have to continuously Google. Um, I look like so tired. um, like, which is book one and stuff like that when I want to organize it or I want to make sure, like, what I'm picking up or not. So, so it's a designer comes to Lake Wisteria and she meets Julian, kind of like I think it's kind of like low key enemies to lovers, but I think I'm gonna read it. Maybe not next necessarily, but it seemed really good. My eBay haul first because it was a lot. I think I paid only $3 plus shipping because it was like best offer, or it was like $4 plus shipping. So the hubby offered 3 plus shipping and they gave it to us, which I'm so excited about. I have another book from the Black Jewel series, still not book one, but I'm getting there. So this one's called Tangled Webs. I don't know where this falls. This doesn't have because it's like Black Jewel is like a trilogy and then it just continues and like an expanding, kind of like how the others did. The first part of the others is 5 books and then and more others, because it's like following, it's the same time, it's the same time period, it's the same world and all that stuff. So I got book number, I don't know, but um very excited about that. And then I got the complete, I don't even know the name of this series. Let me see. Oh wait, it would be in here. Hopefully I can pronounce it okay. I'm terrible at that. Because in here it lists all her works. So yeah, so this is the Tri-Alien trilogy. If I pronounce that right, I'll put it here on screen. But I was able to get all 3 books and they're well loved, which I do love that. I know some people want their books pristine or whatever, but I mean, obviously if it's falling apart, it's kind of like trash at that point. But I like counted. I was like, oh, I only have like 17 books of hers to read, and like I don't want it to be over. But this is for sure on the docket. I don't know. I think I have them in order. First, it's Pillars of the World. This is fantasy. So beautiful vintagey cover. And then we have Shadow of Light. You can see some like dragon gargoyle type things, creatures. And then we have the House of Gaian. It's so terrible. Like I can barely read sometimes, honestly. So very excited about that. I realize she's actually gonna be quite hard to thrift, I think. So hopefully I can come across a lot on eBay. I have my eyes on a few, but Funny enough, a lot of the ones I have my eyes on, I already have one book from there, and I don't want repeats. I guess I could like donate it or like resell it on eBay or something like that. Lastly, we popped into Goodwill just to kind of kill some time after doing something, and I picked up these three books, which I don't know, I might donate one because it's like book 13 in like a 15 book series, and I think it's not like each are standalone. I don't think I'd be able to pick it up, so to speak, unless the author does a good job of just refreshing of everything that's happened. But so we'll start off with um, Dawn Song by Michael Morano. So it's kind of like gothicy. I think it's like maybe urban fantasy. It's horror. Oh, I didn't realize that. I'll have to see because I'm not a horror reader, but it seemed interesting. Um, yeah, it seemed interesting. So that one, and then this is the one that is like book like 13, and the reviews on Goodreads, which I have to take with a grain of salt, but their complaint is that there's too much, SEX scenes like every other, and they, because it starts off as like a murder investigation, suspense, a little romance, but then it got really sex heavy, which I don't mind if it's done correctly. I don't know if I talked about this in a book yet, but I read Den of Vipers. I forget who's the author. I might put a picture here. And I couldn't finish it. I did. I skimmed the last 100 pages. The plot was like, okay, I love the female main character. She was badass. I like it was a reverse harem. I like all the male characters. They were all individually like, there's a golden retriever, there's the dark one, there's the serious one, and then there's like the crazy one. And the female main character was like thick and like badass and like, fuck shit up because it was like dark gangster type vibes. And like the scenes were spicy. And mind you, this was like almost a 700-page book for no damn reason, I do have to say. And like, so the conflict was very shallow in my opinion. And then when it concluded, I was like, that's it? Okay. And then I still see, I think I got it on Kindle Limited. I still see I had like literally 100 or like 10% or whatever the thing was on it. And I was like, okay. So I skimmed, and it was just too much. There is too much, especially you can only describe it so many ways, and it was not necessary. A little quick epilogue would have been okay for me. So, and lastly of my acquisitions, which I thought would be perfect for fall, it's called Eternity by Maggie Shine. Cheyenne, Shane. I'd say that's Shane, spelled a little funny, but Love Now, Love Forever, a hauntingly beautiful story of love that endures through time itself. Um, love the cover. It's a witch on a moon. She's very whimsical and beautiful. So it's about her name is Raven St. James, a woman who unearthly beauty and beguiling charms inspired rumors of witchcraft. Only one man tried to save her from the hangman's noose. Dukin, the town minister, who thought it strange that anyone could accuse this lovely and vibrant woman of anything wicked. Stranger still was the fact that Raven was a witch, and even though she held power to save herself, she could not rescue Duncan, who died trying to help her. And then it's now 300 years later, the mortal witch searches for the one soul who truly loved her. At last, after centuries of loneliness and longing, Raven has found him. Her precious Duncan has returned, reborn in the body of a man who has no memory of the past they shared. Yet Raven knows that the heart can never forget true passion, that their souls are destined to be together. But as Duncan reawakens to the power of Raven's love, so does the evil that tore them apart 300 years ago. Now Raven and Duncan must prove their love for all eternity. That sounds perfect for like a cozy read. Seems like some action, love, and just, yeah. That, so yeah, I'm going to finish the Enchanted Forest Chronicles. The last two books I can't get on audiobook, which is fine. I don't need that. And I spent the other day finding out how to create every book that I own into audiobook for as free as possible. It started off by me getting Speechify, which I have the free version. I'm not paying for the paid version. And that's going to help me so much with getting back into my stories because it's going to read it back to me. I started on one and I was cackling because I was like so excited. Um, and then with Audible, I didn't realize how many books I could get that, didn't need a credit of like what I have. Obviously, I don't think you could do that with brand new books because that's not what I read. I don't read super trendy books, honestly, besides this one that I got from the library. But I tend to, I mean, gosh, this was written like in the late 90s. When did this one come out? This one came out in 91. So, yeah, so I found a ton of books that I have on Audible for free. So I saved all that to my library. And then on Kindle, there's this little trick. If you change the font, there's another option for like for it's for the visually impaired, but where it'll read it to you. Not the best voice, very AI robotic. Not even AI, it's just like that robotic stuff from back in the day, honestly. Because I can't make that too good because no one's gonna buy the good stuff with real, you know, narrators. But I found a lot of stuff that I own that I can read in tandem, which has helped me absorb the information of what I'm reading a lot better. And I'm already a fast reader when I get into it, as it is. Um, so, so yeah, I this is gonna be a lot longer video than I anticipated, but yeah, I will see you in the next one. Make sure you like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. Leave a comment. Have you read any of this? What are you reading right now? I'd love to know. I'm always expanding my TBR. It's endless. And that's a good thing. You know, if once you read all your TBR and you have nothing else to read, that's when, that's going to be a sad time. So, yeah, I'm going to go make a cup of tea, get back in bed, and cuddle with my little one and read for sure. Bye.